We are live. Okay, so. Good evening. It is Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, and it is 6:04 p.m. And I will call to order the regular meeting of the Millwood City Council. Denise, if you could do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Vesey? Commissioner Kohler?
Here.
Commissioner Van Hees?
Here.
Commissioner Sander?
Here.
Commissioner Stevens?
We have a quorum, and Commissioner Stravens is expected to arrive shortly for a quorum plus one for tonight. So at this time, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. So at this time, I would ask the council if council wishes to make any changes to the meeting agenda as presented. Seeing or hearing no movement for changes, is there a motion on tonight's meeting agenda as presented?
Move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, tonight's meeting agenda is approved. Please note that Councilmember Stravens has arrived at 6:05 p.m. Thank you, Kelly, for coming down. Appreciate it. Agency reports and presentations. Do we have anyone from the fire department or anything tonight? So we have no agency reports and presentations. Do we have any other presentations this evening?
No.
We have no other presentations. Public comments received. These are comments that are submitted to the city pertaining to action items that are on tonight's agenda. They are submitted by either regular mail, electronic mail, or directly at City Hall. Have we had any public comments submitted on the action items for tonight's agenda?
We have not.
So there are no public comments on the action items? And do we need an executive session?
Have nothing prepared.
We have no executive session for this evening, so thank you very much. That brings us to item number 8, our action items for this evening. Our first action item is the consent agenda, consisting of the annual VIBA resolution, the November 2023 payroll, the November 2023 claims, the November 2023 treasurer's reports, and the minutes from the regular city council meeting of November 14th, 2023. Would any council member like to take any of those items separately for consideration? Since there is no movement to consider any separately, do I have a motion on the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the consent agenda is approved unanimously. Thank you. That brings us to item 8B, ordinance 359, setting the 2024 budget with the salary schedule.
There's no changes from the final public hearing.
So you have in your packet the budget that as was presented at the last, the regular November meeting. There are no changes to that budget based on any information we have received from the county, et cetera. And the salary schedule is presented as Exhibit A. Does council have any questions for myself or Ms. Matkin on the budget? Do I have a motion on ordinance 539 as presented? Wait, it is,
Is it 539 or
which is it? Is it 359?
59.
the ordinance itself was labeled?
9, right?
Somebody's dyslexia caught up with them.
Uh-oh. Was it me? I have dyslexia. 359? No.
Which one is it? Is it 539?
Look at the,
This says 359.
So we have 359 in the
you
agenda.
know why?
Why?
Because I typed out that one and you then chose this one. So,
Well, what is the ordinance number?
get, Yeah,
Let me
go
pull up
and
ordinances,
grab
just
the
so we
next
can be
ordinance.
100% sure on this.
Yes.
539.
539.
539. So it is the ordinance is correct. It is the agenda that is presented incorrectly. So we can call that a scrivener's error on the agenda tonight. The ordinance is 539. So the ordinance reads correctly. So is there a motion on ordinance 539 as presented?
Move approval of ordinance 539 for the budget as presented.
And that also sets the
Salary
salaries.
schedule.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the ordinance 539 is approved unanimously as a quorum plus one. We have 4 members voting aye. So that is approved, and that brings us to item 8C, Resolution 2023-09, the water rates for 2024.
Getting there.
Okay.
Does he have it open?
I do have it open.
It's okay. I just need to look at it.
Edit. Now will it let me? Yes, it will. Okay. Establishing rates for next year. What went into consideration is as follows. We do have the drinking water state revolving fund requirement to maintain a minimum of 12.5% operating reserve and capital and emergency reserves, as well as a loan payment reserve. I took this right out of the text from the contract. City must provide a resolution adopting rate increases, capital assessments, or both for the service of the system that shall be sufficient to provide funds, which along with other revenues of the system will pay all operating expenses and debt repayment during the term of the loan, which does not expire until 2035. So the requested increase is $1.83 per month. It says per connection, but it's actually per unit. That would increase us from $27.82 to $29.65 per month. And it also flows through to our commercial rates. We have no change in the consumption tiers, as our variable expenses don't exceed the variable rate, which is the consumption rate. It'll generate an additional around $20,000 a year and will provide us with a positive balance. And if we go to the next slide, you will see when I worked on the water rates this year, our revenues versus our expenditures, we came up with a negative. Now, a lot fed into that. We're going budget to budget, not actual expenditures. However, we have had quite a few inflated expenditures in the services, which is the professional services. We've done some work with the engineers to close up some loops and some weak spots in the system, and we also had to replace a flow meter at Booster, right?
Yeah.
Which was incredibly costly and had to be done, but it's part of R&M. It's not a capital expenditure. It's part of the operating budget. And so with just $1.83 more a month per unit, we will end up with a positive balance of right in there around $19,000–$20,000. Any excess in leftover at the end of the year feeds right into the fund balance and goes to capital projects, along with the capital improvement fee, which is actually $5 of your base fee goes directly into a capital improvement account. And that's about 53,000 a year that earns, trying to build up a fund balance for any emergencies and someday we'll have to replace the water tower. That's gonna be extremely costly. So we're just trying to get the system healthy. And that is all I have.
Any questions for Debbie? I think it's important to note that things like meters and stuff like that don't really come out of capital expenditure, even though it's a piece of hardware. It's all operation and maintenance on an existing system. So we do have to have some level of funding to make sure that we can meet our O&M obligations as things come up. That's part of maintaining our own system. So, thank you. Mr. Sander?
Debbie, it's been 3 years since we adopted the existing rate.
We adopted it at the end of 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
So nobody likes to increase rates, but it's a gentle increase compared to what inflation has cost.
Absolutely, and I think when we adopted that rate structure, we adopted it thinking we would raise it 2% per year. But yes, we didn't even take an increase last year and
Good
inflation
job
was
on
horrible.
Squeezing the
Yeah.
checkbook.
Yes.
Any other questions? With no other questions, what is the pleasure of the council regarding resolution 2023-09?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2023-09 for water rate changes for next year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing or hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the water rate resolution 2023-09 for 2024 is approved. Thank you. And with that, that concludes our action items for this evening. So we will move to our reports. Item 9A, treasurer report and city clerk's report.
On the treasurer's side, we'll be coming back to you next month with some changes in the fee schedule to try to, again, recoup some money. Also, I'm real pleased. Today, I got the maturity date on one of our investments, and in under 6 months, we earned $12,000. So I'm pretty tickled about that. We'll see if we can't get some more of those treasury bonds that are at a high yield right now. On the clerk side, well, we're gonna come back to you next month with an appointment for a new clerk. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. And that's all I have right now.
Any questions for Debbie on year end or anything on the treasurer's report? Anything on the clerk's side of things? It's been kind of quiet lately.
Oh, also, remember the last audit that went on forever? It's already time for the next audit. So we do,
Yeah.
that'll be this spring, so.
So we will need one or two volunteers from the council for audit contacts.
Yes. So,
We will have our entrance conference and our exit conference on that as well. So
Yeah,
please
so-
be ready for that.
Are they showing up in person again?
they are showing up in person this time, so, yes.
Any other questions? So facilities report, Mr. Shealy.
If you've been over in area one at all over there, you probably saw the sidewalks all got ground down and got rid of a ton of trip hazards over there. So I think that was a good improvement, and we'll keep up on those now that we kind of have a connection to do that kind of stuff, I think. Leaf season, we wrapped that up. It ended up going about a day late just because so many leaves were falling late. It took us 2 full days to get through the town, which normally on the last day, all the trees are bare and just kind of just hunting and finding a pile here and there. But ended up with 57.5 loads altogether for the year. So, we got the one truck all cleaned up and converted over that does the de-icing and stuff, and got a couple rounds of de-icer out so far. And been working on getting the other truck converted over for plowing and sanding and stuff. We're just about 100% ready for the snow to come if it does. In the tree board meeting, we had a couple of comments come up wanting to do a kind of a last minute push to get a DNR tree grant done. The due date on it's the 8th of January, so we're gonna push to try and do that. I had a gentleman from Bartlett arborist come out yesterday, and we walked through kind of what we wanna do. We wanna start by attacking the ones that are dead and need to come out, and then kind of work our way through all the way up to cutting out dead wood and crown cleaning and stuff like that, but get the hazard trees out of there first. The radar sign heading northbound on Argonne got smacked last week or something, and on the night that it went down, somebody stole the whole head unit off of it, so that was cool. Luckily, Paul had one off an old sign that we had sent in to get recalibrated and everything, so we had that sitting in the back, so should be minor things to get that up and running again, a small solar panel and a couple other things, but the main brain of it we had in back, so that was good. We did kind of a final leaf pickup for ourselves in the park and the arboretum and the trail. One kind of exciting thing is we did get awarded both TIB grants that we applied for. One of them was a supplement for the Argonne project when it'll go towards helping us pay our percentage for that. And the other one is a grant that'll pay for 95% of the repaving from the Trent concrete to Frederick. So I'll be working on getting all the paperwork and stuff signed and processed for that. I think that's about all I got for Public Works. Matt had a couple personal things today, so he took today off. The routine water samples all came back good. We installed a new 1.5-inch water service at the Chipotle Old Banner Bank building last Monday and Tuesday, and got that done, and that's about it.
Questions on Public Works or utilities for Kyle this evening? Thank you, Kyle. So that brings us to the planning report. Ms. Tanio has submitted a planning report in your packet. Planning Commission met and held a public hearing for ZTA 2023-01, which is a zoning text amendment for manufactured home parks. The recommendation will be to approve the zoning text amendment, will likely come before you in January. There's at least 5 ongoing land use applications before her. A number of, she's been reviewing SEPA documents from City of Spokane Valley and has been attending the PTAC meetings for the Steering Committee of Elected Officials for Land Capacity Analysis. Steering Committee of Elected Officials will be holding a meeting, I believe it's going to be in February, to discuss kicking off those land capacity analysis and moving toward the comp plan amendment updates that will be due by 2025. And we'll be kind of looping back to that in the mayor's report on that. So you will have a zoning text amendment coming before you in January. I would remind you that any questions, anything like that, because it is coming before you, you need to exercise your quasi judiciary face and should possibly refrain from comment on that because it will be coming. Any other advice, Counselor? All right, any questions on planning? Thank you very much, and that brings us to code enforcement, Ms. McLean.
We don't currently have any open code enforcement cases. I just had one in the last month that was a boat that had been sitting in the right of way for a couple of years that we had the property owners finally move. And then another one that we're still investigating. We'll probably take action in the next week or so. That's it, pretty quiet.
Any questions? Thank you, Denise. Legal report, Mr. Worst.
Even more quiet for legal, so I have nothing to report tonight.
And that brings us to the mayor's report. I have attempted to set up a meeting with Mr. Knowles, Sheriff Knowles, regarding FTE and deputies and all that sort of stuff. I think we're gonna be able to do that probably sometime the first part of February. Regarding some of the planning activities, I would like to in February schedule a joint meeting of both the city council and the planning commission to discuss two bills that one is now state law. So one is House Bill 1337 pertaining to accessory dwelling units. We are seeing a rise in ADUs, and I'm gonna invite Amanda in to explain to council some of the potential issues that the city should probably prepare for with these ADUs. They're pretty much, they are a significant change from our current ADU. The other is the engrossed substitute House Bill 1245, which was introduced in February of 2023, but will be coming back again. And that basically says lot sizes can be lot sizes everywhere for a jurisdiction within a GMA boundary, resulting lot size 2,000 square feet. So, and it more than likely looks, given the sponsor list, that may pass. So if that does pass, there will be some significant mandated changes to our codes as we are within the Growth Management Act boundary. So I think it's just important that we have Amanda come in and explain to both council, talk with planning commission, and given her wealth of knowledge, look at least begin considering planning for ADUs and then looking at potential issues with this mandated new lot size. So that is what is out there. So I will talk to Amanda and talk to Mike Ankeny with Chair of the Planning Commission and look for a date, probably not springing anybody on January, but probably shooting for February. So if there is any takeaways for the Planning Commission, they can begin incorporating it into their 2024 schedule. Any questions for me on anything? Otherwise, it's been quiet here. That's about it. With no further question, that ends the reports for tonight. Now we are at council information. You have the Spokane County Sheriff's Office report for October of 2023 in your packet. That brings us to item number 11 tonight, which is public remarks, which is an opportunity for citizens to address the council. We ask that the citizens follow the citizen participation guidelines. Limit themselves to 2 minutes. Do we have anybody signed up? We have nobody signed up, but in the interest of discussion, is there anybody who would like to make comments this evening? Please step forward and state your name and address for the record, or state your name for the record.
My name's Ken Bain. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned lot size. Did you say 2,000 square feet?
That is what is in the bill.
Wow.
That is what is in the bill.
Okay, that's really small.
That is what is in the bill.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Shereen, please.
Shireen Young, and I just wanted to say thank you to all that made it out to the Millwood Christmas Market and Winterfest. I think it was really a great night, despite the snow. Maybe that helped. I think that was good. I know our Santa got just mobbed with the kids and lots of great family activities, and I think it was just a really good time for all. So, thank you all.
Thank you, Shereen. Anyone else? Second call. Third and final call. Seeing no money come forward, we will end the public remarks for tonight. Council remarks, Mr. Stravens.
No.
Mr. Mr. Sander.
Well, thank you to Shereen and all the community folks that participated in the Winterfest. Lots of people all around town, and it was a good time, even though the West Valley Band was off doing something else somewhere, you know, but we had some amateur singers there to help, so thank you.
Mr. Van Hees.
Nothing.
Mr. Culler.
Nope.
That concludes our council remarks. Announcements. So the announcements we have for this evening, do we have any announcements for city? Are we closed for any particular?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would probably be good.
We will be closed December 25th and January 1st.
So we won't be here. Anything else? Awesome. So our announcements tonight are administration of the oath of office for elected officials per RCW 29A 60-283B, which is providing the oath of office at the last regular scheduled meeting before before terms take effect. So, Mr. Stravens, if you would please stand. I, Kelly Stravens,
I, Kelly Stravens,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I am a citizen of the United States and the state of Washington.
Mayor, I don't feel it so
Just say,
good.
I do solemnly swear.
I state your name.
Oh my goodness gracious. So, I, Kelly Stravens, do solemnly swear and affirm that I am a citizen of the United States of the state of Washington, that I am legally qualified to assume the office of the city of Millwood. Council position number 3, that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Washington. I will faithfully and impartially discharge duties of this office to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. So I will let you sign that one. So Mr. Van Hees, if you would please stand. I, Andy Van Hees.
I, Eddie Van Hees, do solemnly swear or affirm that I am a citizen of the United States and the state of Washington, and I am legally qualified to assume the office of City of Millwood City Council position 4. I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Washington, and that I faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. I will sign that. Mr. Kohler.
Okay.
I, Sean Kohler.
I, Sean Kohler, do solemnly swear or affirm that I am a citizen of the United States and the state of Washington, that I am legally qualified to assume the office of City of Millwood Council position number 5, that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Washington, and I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. That is our oath of offices for our elected officials this evening. And so with no other announcements and oath of offices complete, that brings us to setting our next meeting. Our next meeting is set for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. And if there is no further business before us, Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and second, and all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Were you Santa Claus, Tim?
I was.
I was trying to get down there.
I was Santa and it was crazy at the end.
Okay. How many kids sat on your lap?
None of them, they just come up and get a candy can, but it was like a,
Lots of photos and things?
there's a couple hundred kids out there, I bet.
Oh, no kidding.
I would say that there's.
Well, it's just unfair on his part to repeat after me.
I know, you did that on purpose.
It was fun.